The NHL's Board of Governors and the NHL Players Association membership have ratified a 4-year collective bargaining agreement through the 2029-30 season. And this was announced on Tuesday, 2 days ago, but it's Thursday, and I had to talk about this with my frequent collaborator, guest, my friend, Christopher Babos. Chris, how's it going?
Good. Can't complain. The slow days of the hockey season, but still a lot to talk about.
For sure, man. So what do you make of this situation? They came to an agreement, the CBA through 2029-30 season, and the agreement will get started for the 2026-27 season, which will include a 84 game regular season schedule, which previously it was 82, now it's 84.
hmm
So what are your thoughts?
So there's actually some precedent for the 84 game season between 1992 and 1995. The NHL actually ran an 84 game season. So I don't really think it changes all of that much. I think it allows the NHL to add a couple more divisional games onto the schedule. Um, while there's nothing yet official, expansion is likely coming to the NHL at some point. Teams 33 and 34. There's just too much money involved for them to be like, no, don't give me, I don't even know, is it a couple $1 million or a billion? I don't even know what the expansion fees are anymore, but there's definitely some more teams coming. So it just allows them to kind of prep the schedule, so to speak, for those additions. And the biggest thing I'm happy about it is no work stoppage. It's something that's been somewhat of a theme in Gary Bettman's tenure during NHL commissioner, and they had good conversations. His quote was, "It's refreshing." It's not like any of the conversations that we've had before about the CBAs, and that's good because they lost an entire season in 0405, and they lost more than half a season in 12-13. So the fact that the NHL is going to be able to move forward for the next 5 years is fantastic.
Yeah, that's something I was gonna bring. The last time that it was a massive work stoppage was in the 2004, 2005 season, which is crazy to think that that was 20 years ago. I remember the news was all over the place when it came to that.
My
It's
Halloween
like
costume that season was I had a Flyers jersey on, one of the old school third Flyers jerseys. I had two chains across me and a padlock on my chest. I was a locked out hockey player for Halloween. So yeah, I remember that one well.
oh boy. And that was the biggest one that I've seen and experienced in my lifetime. Obviously, I was too young and I wasn't watching baseball at the time when I saw
hmm
it when it was the 94
Same.
strike. So there's other people that were much more older than me that they can shine light on how serious and how betrayed they felt when that happened.
hmm
And me personally, I've never been a fan of work stoppage in sports, strikes, because in baseball in that 94 season, we had great storylines like the Montreal Expos,
hmm
and the Yankees were rolling as well that year, and all these other teams. And I think there was going to be another one in 2002, but that didn't happen. And the
hmm
Minnesota Twins, they were able to go to the playoffs that year for the first time in like 11 years. And so, but during Gary's time as commissioner of hockey, that has been a recurring issue. But thank God that's not going to be an issue for these next 4 years. Everybody came together. But do you feel that is there some for everything? There's a pros and cons to everything. Do you think that now with 84 games, you feel like this will be a con when it comes to like postseason play and money situation? Is there any downside to this that you think?
And I'm sure there's downside just from a wear and tear on the athlete's standpoint, but I don't think 2 games is really gonna make much of a difference. They haven't released the full details of the CBA, so it'd be interesting to see if they're cutting 2 preseason games from the schedule. Because most of the times it's not even the NHL players in those anyway. So it'd be interesting to see how they address that situation, but I think it's really negligible. Honestly, is it's one of those situations that just it might provide opportunity for players at the end of the year for non-playoff teams to get an opportunity and play in some games. But I think it's one of those things that yeah, it's fairly negligible at the end of the day.
Aside from this story, is there any storyline that has grabbed your attention or that you feel that is under the radar in this offseason so far?
Yeah, it's the team that you covered last season, the Utah Mammoth. Well, they
Oh
weren't the
yeah,
Mammoth last year, but
Bill
I loved
Armstrong
it.
is not playing around.
No, and they shouldn't be. They wallowed in obscurity in Arizona for 10 years. Now they've got an owner in Ryan Smith that wants to win, that wants to spend money. And they were aggressive. They went out and got one of the biggest players available out of Buffalo with JJ Peterka, which was an absolutely fantastic trade. They've got a lot of youth on their roster and NHL players there now. So I think I loved the Sergachev trade last year to help set them up for future success. So I think the Utah Mammoth are going to be somebody to watch out there in the Western Conference this season.
I like that they added some veteranship. They added more toughness, more defense, and
Mhm.
leadership in that locker room. So on paper, if everyone stays healthy, they should make the playoffs. They should
They
with all these
should, yeah.
with all these additions that they've made. But yeah, they're not playing around. That front office is not playing around. I'm like, okay, let's see how far they
And a
can go.
banger logo too. That logo is fantastic. I got a chance to see it at the NHL Combine, and like just the gear that the actual people are like the executives and scouts and whatnot are walking. That looks so good on gear. Just like the logo, the Mammoth logo on like just the black tracksuit. It looks so good.
Is there any free agent out there that you feel that you're surprised that hasn't been signed yet, or that you would like to see them go to a team, or that you could see them going to a team that they can help compete?
Um, Not really. So the problem with free agency this season is it seems like a lot of players decided to just stick where they were comfortable and re-sign with the teams that you know that they were with, like Evan Bouchard out there in Edmonton. The threats of offer sheets definitely loomed. I don't know how many offer sheets you were gonna see with a prospect like Gavin McKenna. And there's a right-handed defenseman. I want to say his name's Keaton Bearhoff. I could be wrong on the first name. That could be franchise changing players um, for a team to draft in the 2026 draft. So um, I was surprised to see Ehlers go from Winnipeg to Carolina. Um, but I mean, really, eh, I would say things were largely picked over. Right now, it's a lot of older veterans available out there. Nick Backstrom from the Capitals, Marc-André Vlasic from the Sharks, TJ Oshie also from the Capitals. Uh, all of them are 37, 38. Alec Martinez from Chicago, he's 38. So I mean, you've got older players. The RFAs themselves loom a little large. Bowen Byram is going to get a deal from Buffalo or from somebody, going to get a trade, something. He seems pretty unhappy out there in Buffalo, and I can't say that I blame him for what they've dealt with over the last decade. Gabe Vilardi, big center in Winnipeg, and Mason McTavish, a young center in Anaheim. Both are restricted free agents. Um, but again, for a team to take a shot on a restricted free agent, you're giving up a lotto chance to draft Gavin McKenna, who could be a world beater for all intents and purposes. So I would have to think that NHL front offices are thinking long and hard about whether or not that trade-off is worthwhile for restricted this offseason. And I think that's one of the reasons you haven't really seen any offer sheets to this point. I think that 2026 first round pick is just too damn important.